Okay. Hello, Andrew.
Hello, Simon. How are you?
I'm all right. It's been a little bit of a gap. Life gets in the way, doesn't it, at
Yeah,
times?
I don't want to worry you, but someone's nicked all your CDs. They're
Yeah,
not behind you anymore.
I had a bad run. I've had to knock them all out.
Well, you won't have got a lot for that from Music Magpie, will you?
No, you wouldn't actually. Music Magpie is a bit of a rip-off. And when you send them there, they're probably saying that they've got scratches or they're not the quality they. I tried selling a phone there once, and I asked for it back because they tried to flint me. They definitely haven't got the honour of bookmakers, Music Magpie.
Game's not straight.
No.
How was York on day one then? Was it?
Yeah, it was actually for anyone that's not read my blog, it's all there. But it was yeah, there was a couple of big punters. I mean, I'm told that was. Well, I have been to York Ebor meeting before, but it was a few years ago, and I've been told that's one of the quietest days. And there was yeah, a couple of big punters there. Laid an even 30 grand, uh, 10 grand at 9 to 4. Um, the guy wanted 20 grand at 7 to 2, and then realised he didn't quite have the funds, so he reduced to 15. So that's a few,
As you do, he's
monkeys.
hunting
Yeah,
around the back
monkeys.
of the sofa for the other 5 grand.
Yeah, his back pocket didn't. No, he was. Yeah, so it was good fun, and they managed to win, which
Yeah.
is interesting. It's I'm a bit out of my comfort zone up north because obviously down south I know near enough everybody, but when you
Yeah,
get
I went
further
last
north,
year for the first time in a few years, and it is quite a different atmosphere and different vibe, isn't it? When you're walking around and you don't get 84 people saying hello to you within the first 5 minutes of walking into the ring because you don't know so many of them.
yeah, there's a few of the northern bookmakers that appear not to be too big a fan of my work, and they get a few comments. So I'm going to go and shake all their hands today and see if I can do a bit of diplomacy. Martin Barrett is one
I,
of them.
rem- I remember when working for the Martin and Leicester firm that when we rocked up at Pontefract for about the northernmost track we bet at, there'd be a few looks and snide comments and what you doing up here kind of thing.
Yeah, I know. It's just some of them just don't agree with my blogs. I don't know why. Anyway, there's a few that sort of sit on Twitter and make some comments. So I'm going to try and do a bit of diplomacy, walk up and shake their hand so they can see that I'm all right. Really, see what happens. Anyway, so you've and I was at the Shergar Cup as well, and that was actually quite lively. And I was people sort of deride it, but the people that were there was a big. The demographic was fairly young. People were dressed up to the nines. They had absolutely no idea what the Shergar Cup was all about. I mean, that's a given. I mean, the Star Sports special was which team was going to win, and they didn't take a single bet. But
Should have
the
gone for the colour of the Queen's, the
well,
King's hat.
but they were queuing up to get on all day, and then they were piling to the revs, and they were really really getting into it. So that was really good to see. So as much as people give it a,
Yeah, well, I grew to quite enjoy it when I was with the Martin and Leicester firm because I think it was the first track that I repped at because the business was so small that Martin didn't really want to go because the firms wouldn't play. I think in the sort of few years that I did it, 2 or 3 years that I did it, Ladbrokes had one bet of like a 700 to 4 or something, and that was it. You just couldn't really, the firms didn't want to get involved. This was the time when they'd always try to shorten one up. But it was all like 2 quids and fivers, and pound each way, and the fiver minimum sign would stay in the kit. You'd never get that out all day, and it was small but busy, and it was a good way of learning how to make a book for the first time on your own, really, because
yeah,
you wouldn't get someone putting a chunk in your hand and having a lopsided book as a result.
yeah, it was good. Whatever Ascot do to promote it, they do a really really good job. So and people that say they're not there for the racing, they weren't there for the racing, but they were enjoying the racing. So it might have been a byproduct of what they were there
Yeah,
for, but it
and
was
a lot of punters moan that it's a hard place to find winners, but with the maximum field sizes of is it 10 nowadays, you don't get the sort of draw biases that you get at the likes of Royal Ascot, where your horse finishes fifth, but you've won the race on the wrong side of the track by 4 lengths, and so you don't get that frustration. So yeah, it's not a bad punting meeting, I don't think.
But I mean, the same people that are, complaining about it, the ones that are moaning saying there's too much racing. So I mean, you can just ignore it, can't you? No, I don't see what the problem is. You can ignore that meeting for one day a year if you don't like it. But
Yeah.
anyway, you like it because you found the system.
Yeah, this is to do with horses who ran at the Shergar Cup last time out. And I remember back in William Hill radio days, this is probably going back sort of 10 years or so, I did devise a system called Shergar Cup flops, which was to look for horses who were relatively fancied in the betting, starting at single figure odds, who finished out of the first threes. And what I found was that they did pretty well next time out. And my original sort of thinking behind it was that a lot of these horses were ridden by jockeys who were riding at Ascot for the first time, were yeah, unfamiliar with the horses. These horses might be sort of like slightly quirky, and their regular riders were missing because they weren't there or they were part of a different team. And plus, when you think of these American jockeys who used to come over, they don't ride in 2 mile handicaps, do they, on turf? They've probably never ridden over that distance in their lives. So I was thinking, oh, that they'll probably sort of judge the pace poorly. They might be on the best horse according to the market, or one of the best horses, but their lack of course knowledge and lack of experience at turf on turf, in particular, might sort of lead those horses to run poorly. But then they might bounce back next time out. And so yeah, I just ran the figures since 2008. So yeah, a Shergar Cup flop is defined as a horse who was 9 to 1 or shorter. This is SP, not Betfair SP, who finished fourth or worse. And since 2008, 316 qualifiers, 34 of them won, so it's a fairly modest strike rate, just under 11%. But you'd have made £77.75 to a £1 level stake at SP backing those blind, which is 24.6% on turnover. And at Betfair SP, that's £77.75 became £190.82, or over 60% on turnover. So that's well above the expected number of winners. The actual over expected score was 1.16. So that is a profitable angle. There was one of these yesterday at York, Spirit Mix, who didn't run particularly well, but he is a bit of a quirk, and he was wearing first-time cheek pieces and was about 20 to 1. There's actually another running in the Nunthorpe on Friday, which is tomorrow, 3:35, Manican, which is 125 to 1. So
They'll
how
know
he
they'll
how he
come there.
how he gets on, I don't know, but I will have to have the price of the lottery tickets on it each way.
I
But
think yesterday, Andrew, it didn't run too bad. Plus, there was an ominous drift. It drifted from 14 to 1 out to 25 to 1. I got on course.
all right, did it?
Yeah, so, and it was at thereabouts. I think it was about fifth, wasn't it?
I'm not sure. There was a couple with similar names, so I'd have to
Yeah.
check that. But yeah, so again, going back to the jockeys angle, I thought, well, surely then these profits can be increased further if we only back the ones who were ridden by the overseas riders last time out. These jockeys coming from the States, Japan, and wherever, perhaps never ridden Ascot before, rarely ride on turf. But the results were quite surprising because a lot of the profits came from the horses who were ridden by Jamie Spencer last time out, or Haley Turner, or Jimmy Fortune going back a few years, Graham Lee. So it seems that perhaps Jamie Spencer, with his reputation for doing well on the straight course at Ascot, maybe that's fine at Royal Ascot when there's 20 or 30 runners, but not so much in the Shergar Cup when there's 10 runners and they don't go quite so quick. Um,
Could it
so,
be
but
that the trainers just use the Shergar Cup as a prep race? Maybe.
Yeah, but, possibly. And the other angle as well was one thing when it comes to betting on the Shergar Cup, I don't care who the jockey is over 5 furlongs, because there's not you don't have to perhaps be sort of a super judge of pace. Normally, it's just like sort of blast and go over that trip. And I think if an international jockey can't ride a 5 furlong race, then it probably shouldn't be riding. So there were a couple of angles. You can chuck out some sort of horses who ran over 5 furlongs last time out, and that's the Shergar Cup Dash, and that would improve the profits. And also those who came out, returned to the track very quickly within 10 days, didn't fare particularly well. So this is now the Shergar Cup's a couple of weeks in the past. I think those horses who ran there below market expectations might do pretty well in the next few weeks. So worth looking out for.
Yeah, that's a good profit on turnover, isn't it? I mean, people make a living on a lot less than that.
Yeah, exactly. So the SP profit's good, and the Betfair SP of 60% is very healthy indeed.
The SP profit wouldn't be very good going forward if yesterday was anything to go by. 14 to 1 chances returning 11. Oh.
Yeah.
But
That's a conversation for another pod, isn't it?
it is. Okay, mate.
Well,
Well,
what will be interesting, I was saying that, what will be interesting is that the argument that the industry SP is so much lower than the average sort of price on course at the time of the off is that they're all offering extra places. So that these sort of 5-to-1 shots that are returning 7-to-2, it's because we're 5 places and 6 places. But with those, if you look at an odds checker screen nowadays, the extra places are getting eroded because of bookmaker margins, and it's going to be sort of back to standard industry places pretty soon. So there's going to be no excuse for these horses going off so much shorter.
Well, when I did the SPs, you weren't allowed to include a bookmaker bet into unorthodox places in the sample. So I don't know what's changed there. So none of those should even be in the sample. Anybody offering of 5 places, 6 places should never be included unless they've changed the rules and not told anyone.
No one seems to know the rules.
No.
You can't find them anywhere.
Come racing, that's where you get the value. We're obviously a bit of bet for SP, but come racing, that's the game. Anybody that likes this, just do a little plug because we've done one for a while. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Get Andrew's words of wisdom. If you want to have a proper ponder at what he's come up with on my website, which is up there, you'll find all his figures. They've been up there for a few days because we wanted to let people know that that selection that was running yesterday. Anyway,
I think what we'll try and do in the future video as well is try and come up with a sort of York flop system as well, because we're always being told York's a specialist track. We saw one of the big race winners yesterday bounce back from a couple of poor runs on undulating tracks to then win back at York, taking his record at the track to 2 from 2. So I think there might be an angle in opposing sort of York experts, who win at this meeting next time out, and there might be an angle in looking at horses who sort of flopped at relatively short odds, who perhaps just didn't handle the track. But so more of that in a future episode.
Yeah, good to see Pride of Arras. Because I backed the bar stewards were keen on that, weren't they? I backed it, I think, for the Derby anti-post.
Yeah, I mean,
and
again, it then sort of like after a few weeks later, you're thinking, well, actually, the Dante form was rubbish, and nothing's come out of it run well. But it was simply just a case of it was the track, and the stewards had them in, and Rafe Beckett said the return to a flat track helped.
And he's not interested in betting anyway, is he?
No, was he on record previously for saying he was asked about a market move on one of his horses, and he said, my owners are too posh to bet or something.
Yes. Anyway, on that note, I'll be seeing you up here soon, Andrew. So
yes, yeah, I'll
try and make these a bit more frequent.
Yes, indeed. And, that's on me.
That's all right.
School holidays and family life getting in the way.
Tell me about it. Great. Okay, mate. Thanks very much.
Okay.
Catch you later. Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
Hello everyone, just a quick one. If you have enjoyed these videos and are enjoying these videos, can you please like and subscribe to my channel? Thanks very much.